I'm trying to steer away from ecology because आपका दिमाग already पका हुआ है इससे, you know. So I am saying that the ecological damage is there. It's the monoculture. You know, that's not how nature works. But the most profound other effect that it had was it created a sense of the boundary. So can you guys show me any boundary in reality?
So, for example, my body. So my boundary is my
Yeah.
body. This is my boundary.
So I would say
you can see it. You know, my hands.
Yeah.
This is the boundary edge.
So that's a good way to put it. So is Mansoor only up to the skin? Let me stand up. Does Mansoor end here? It stands for one person. But I just told you, this is not one person. You arbitrarily made a boundary around it and say, no, this is one person and his name. A name is a label. It's symbol. How many joins? There are joins. But there's nothing in common between them. Even if they're twins, you know. So it creates the idea of names. So these are all symbols. Alphabet, word, number. Can you show me two of anything? Identity.
Two books.
Wrong. So, and
So
obviously,
you cannot have two identical things of anything. Even two grains of rice are not the same.
Nothing is the same. So the concept of two, when we think that maths is the most,
Two apples.
is the purest.
But they're not two same apples.
One is green, one is slightly sour, one is slightly dark, one is this. One is, can they have the same dimension, same tone, same? If one is there and one is here, identity. Imagine that there are all the magicians, texts in the world have managed to manifest. I grant they are identical. Look at weight, reflectivity, diameter, height, and a cold wind blows from it. Which class will get told first?
Are they connected to you in any way? Is it something you observed?
So, around the time when my land was going to be acquired, and I realized all these things about injustice, inequity, you know, the kind of rapacious things that civilization is doing, I used to try and communicate this to people. But I was not a very handsome man. So one is paranoid and one is clinically depressed. Abhay and Sonal are two halves of my character and two parts of my life. I was going the Abhay way. I thought one day I'll get to know everything in the universe. That was me. One day we will crack it. We will solve it. And then this journey happened. Of my land and all that. And I became aware, no, it's not like this. So then I went on the solar journey, which was, so I was part of many people's movements. I've been on dharnas, I've been in submersions, I've been close to a lot of thinkers that whose thoughts I never imagined. So that is the difference between Sonal and Abhay's character, and I've experienced both. One thing I realized, that Sonal's character is a self-destructive character. And if I had gone on that journey, I would have surely done something right. But then people said, Bola to na. So I controlled myself, and that's why Abhay and Sonal, though they are both characters, to understand me, she said, oh my God, I was just a person thinking of morality, environment, human injustice, but ye to kahin baat is great. But for paradigm shift, it's not. And at this level, I don't mean paradigm shift by a communal guy realizing ki yaar, why do I hate Hindus, why do I hate Muslims? I'm not talking about that kind of paradigm shift. This is a paradigm shift of every aspect of your belief. So it was that's what took me a long time. But I knew that there has to be a balance. And luckily, and I couldn't have planned it, that I could break.
Oh, acha. Okay. So the book is actually fiction. So it's entirely fiction, but it's set in a lot of research must have gone into this, Mansoor. So before I read, I just want to ask you, who are the authors you've read to research this topic? Because while the topic is real, the storytelling is fiction, it's told in a fiction world.
So one is that Mansoor triggered this journey of mine. But then I read widely, so it's not like I got it, but I had to understand it from every dimension. So I read, and these authors nobody would have.
No, yeah, so they're specialized writers, yeah, sure, but
Yeah, I can't help being a brand boy. So the thing is that these writers, you have to find them. You have to seek, you have to go down the right, and sometimes a friend might suggest you, but you won't come enter a bookshop like this and find it. So because of my thing, land going way over, I was looking at these kind of sites. There are only 4 or 5 people. There's Charles Eisenstein, there's John Zerzin, who's given a blurb from there. That was a huge moment for me. There is Derek Jensen, he's also given a blurb. Then there is Daniel Quinn. If you guys are thinking of reading any of these people, I'd suggest you read Daniel Quinn's Ishmael first. Because it's very tastily written.
tastily written.
Yeah, and it's something that it's a good launch pad.
So it's this actually. I find it quite tasty. So, present October 2007. She had to talk to him in that park that had been her Saturday morning routine. She had come to terms with the late morning joggers, the urchins, the birds and the stray dogs, but not him. For some inexplicable reason, he stood apart. Her mind could not fathom why. Maybe it was the way he clutched that briefcase of his, and he would open it and look into it but never take anything out. The rest of the time he spent sitting still, occasionally giving a quick look over his shoulder, then easing back into stillness, waiting. Now she counted up the grains carefully at the pigeons flocked near her, waiting to be fed. Each one got an equal share. She watched them peck hungrily and nibbled at his sandwich. It was a perfect circle by now. Then she spotted him, heading for his favorite bench with his briefcase stiffly held close to his side. How could she possibly ask him what was in his briefcase? She had not spoken to anyone except her family for so long that she did not know what people said to each other. But it was the only desire that had sprung in her mind in a long, long time. And now, here he was, entering the park. Would she have the gumption to ask him? Instead of sitting at his usual place, he cut right through the park, a marked deviation from his weekly routine. There was a definite purpose in his movements. He stopped near a pile of long, colored plastic pipes stacked on the side of the road. Casting a quick look around, he lowered his brown leather briefcase to the ground and sat down gingerly on the stack of pipes. His hand slipped something out of his pocket, then fell by his side. He began a slow, covered but strenuous action that was reflected mainly by the set look on his face. She forgot all about his bag and its possible contents, peering at his new activity with unconcealed interest. The strenuous action stopped, and he got up. A section of the pipe he had been sitting on was now dangling from his right hand. That's when he noticed her. His eyes froze on her as though she was the guilty one. Without taking his eyes off her for even a moment, he walked down a path that circled the park towards her. She watched him with a growing sense of panic, till her breath became short and uneven, but she did not move. And now he was close enough to whisper audibly to her. "It's alone," he said, gesturing to the piece of colored pipe in his hand. She was self-conscious. She self-consciously passed a hand over her blue-cut hair, coupled with the gaunt features, and gave her a punk look punk look that somewhat said she was not to be trusted. She remained silent and he continued, "I'm not stealing it. I need to borrow it. It's just a loan. I did not think you were stealing. But you were looking at me. Why? I was wondering what you have in that briefcase." She could not believe she had actually said that. How audacious. How audacious she would have normally thought. But she held the gaze. It flashed fear, surprise, and then plain contempt. She did not know what caused each emotion, but she just looked back at him. She had asked an honest question, and that was that. "You have no right to ask me that," he said. A hint of aggression, but it appeared to stem from latent fear rather than indignation. Somewhere deep in her subconscious mind, she eased up and was not scared of him anymore. He walked away clutching the briefcase a little more firmly and tried to conceal the colored pipe by holding it close to his body. She watched him disappear down a lane. She was not disturbed, but in some distant way reassured. The morning continued as usual. So these are the two characters, I guess, which, in fact, that's the start of the book, the first 2-3 pages. So, any other questions, guys? Yeah.
Does not make the world. It's energy that makes the world. So, do you eat 1,000 rupee notes? No, I mean,
No.
now they are not printed.
So now we can eat
I
them.
finished them. So, you obviously buy something. Money is a map of value. But we started believing in maps so much that for us money is not. Assume that 10,000 crores worth of resources is available. Just because I give you 1 lakh crores, it means the resources will suddenly multiply, The real world is the real world. And but I went to IIT, all the IITs, I challenged them, I said, you are the guys who can do it. Because you're not making them aware that this is real.
I think इसकी औकात इतनी है.
I knew. So it was very conscious on us that I was in short terse, and sometimes sardonic.
There's movement in that.
There's movement. Yeah, no, I know. Since you're asking about it's a sad thing for her. So we ran a farm store. And that's how I met a lot of people, because I'm a very antisocial character otherwise. But we meet in the same environment.
Reach a larger audience.
Of course, the movie is a wider audience. But I was trying to tell you the limitations of each medium.
Yeah.
You see, you might think that talking face to face is a very weak medium. You can only talk to so many people. But there is a certain power. You can see my body language. You can hear the intonation of my voice. I'm expressing emotion and
You will hear the intonation of your voice when you put the mic up. Haan.
It's a Bible, I have a sixth sense, no, not sixth sense. When I look at somebody, I can make out what's going on in their mind. So be careful. Be careful. Glenn.
It is just it's a revelation, I would say.
And how does it travel to your friend who's in America? कौन ले जाता है? तो इंटरनेट बोलता है आया नहीं. But he had connected his computer to some phone line and some, I don't know, these engineers who these things. So he had got internet and he was the only guy who had internet. As in, so it had in every way. What I meant was that in realization, things that Mansoor says, मेरे को थोड़ा time लगता है समझने में.
ये तो बहुत presentation.
On how we look at life itself. How we look at life itself, forget everything else. And he's written that with these delicious characters, which make it very, for me, made it very engaging, and I was attached to the characters. Actually, but I want to give it a shot. और यहाँ पे दूसरा डायरेक्टर भी है, राकेश है, आशुतोष है, राजू से आने वाला था, मंजीत से, we all man. It's a great story. So I think it
I think it will be a great film, and I would like to give it a shot and try it.